Imagine walking up to a vending machine, tapping your card, opening the door, and taking whatever you want. No buttons, no product getting stuck, no standing there while the machine rejects the same perfectly good $5 bill 5 times. You simply take your items, close the door, and walk away. The machine figures out what you took and automatically charges your card. That sounds less like a vending machine and more like a miniature store. And in 2026, businesses are already calling these things AI vending machines. But is this actually a new business opportunity, or is it just the same old vending business wearing a more expensive, futuristic jacket? My name is Ryan, and I'm all about researching new ideas and analyzing how they could affect our business world. I can give you my entire background later, but honestly, I can't wait any longer. Let's get into the business. Vending machines have existed for decades, and they have been making money within our economy for a very long time. The industry is also famous for one particular phrase, passive income. For those of my friends who may not know what passive income means, it is basically cash flow that continues without you actively working for every dollar. In theory, your system can make money while you sleep. Sounds amazing, doesn't it? And yes, vending can eventually become somewhat passive, but it is not as simple as buying a machine, filling it with chips, and waking up rich. From where I stand, almost any business can become less dependent on its owner if it is structured properly. You can hire people, build systems, automate tasks, and eventually remove yourself from some daily operations. So whether vending is passive income is honestly not the most interesting question to me. What interests me is what AI and newer technology are doing to the vending industry. Traditional vending machines are usually large boxes with rows of products. You enter a number, pay, and wait for a coil to push your item forward. Sometimes it works perfectly. Other times, your snack gets stuck and hangs there like it's suddenly changed its mind about coming home with you. Then came card readers and mobile payments, which made the process easier. Now we are seeing another change. Many of these so-called AI vending machines look like smart, high-end refrigerators. A customer taps or inserts a card, and after the payment method is authorized, the door unlocks. The customer opens it, takes one or several products, and closes the door. Cameras, computer vision, and product recognition technology identify what was removed. If the customer takes something and puts it back, the system can adjust the shopping basket. When the door closes, the customer's payment method is charged. Bam! Easy. At least it is easy for the customer. For the business owner, there is much more happening behind that door. Let me give you a fictional example. My friend Nick wants to do something meaningful with his life. Nick is smart, ambitious, and maybe a little impatient. He wants more freedom, and he is tired of feeling like every dollar he earns requires another hour of his time. One night, Nick calls his friend and says, "I'm thinking about starting an AI vending machine business." His friend responds, "Then stop talking about it and start researching." That small push motivates Nick, but thankfully, he doesn't immediately order a machine at 2 in the morning. First, he learns the most important rule of vending. The machine is only as valuable as its location. Nick could own the most advanced vending machine in the city, but if it is sitting in an empty hallway where 12 people walk by every week, the AI will be intelligent enough to watch his products expire. Because Nick is not chasing customers around to sell them snacks, he needs to place the machine where customers already are. He begins researching offices, hospitals, apartment buildings, hotels, gyms, college campuses, warehouses, and other places where people spend long periods of time. He drives around and studies different locations. He looks at parking lots, employee counts, operating hours, nearby food options, and how difficult it would be for people to leave the building during a short break. Eventually, he finds an office that seems promising. Nick walks inside and speaks with the receptionist. He asks whether the building already has a reliable vending service. The answer is almost perfect. They do have a vending machine, but it is old, frequently out of stock, and occasionally keeps people's money without giving them anything. So basically, the machine has already started collecting donations. A manager comes out to speak with Nick. Now, Nick does not have professional sales experience. He does not even own a machine yet. He is nervous, and his first explanation is not very smooth. But instead of promising huge results, he asks questions. How many employees work here? What shifts do they work? What do they normally eat during breaks? Are they leaving the building to buy drinks or lunch? What problems do they have with the current machine? Then Nick makes an offer. He says, "Before I install anything, I would like to survey your employees and find out what they actually want. If I bring a machine here, I don't want to fill it with random products that nobody buys. I want it to be a useful amenity for your team." The manager likes his approach and agrees to consider it. Nick goes home excited, but he still does not have a signed agreement. So he follows up, creates a simple product survey, explains how the smart cooler works, discusses electricity and placement, and negotiates whether the office will receive a percentage of sales. After several conversations, the location finally approves a trial. In our fictional example, Nick finds a machine with a financing option and puts around $4,000 down. That number is only part of our story because real equipment prices, financing terms, software charges, processing fees, delivery costs, and warranties can vary significantly. Nick and his friend transport the machine to the office. They stock it with drinks, snacks, sandwiches, and other products selected through the employee survey. Some inventory comes from Costco and other wholesale suppliers. And then the machine makes its first sale. Nick feels like a genius. But during the first month, reality arrives. A few products barely sell. 2 fresh items expire. 1 customer questions a charge. The internet connection drops. Nick realizes that sales revenue is not the same as profit because he still has inventory costs, card processing fees, possible software fees, financing payments, gas, insurance, spoilage, and potentially a commission for the location. He also discovers that restocking is not passive. Cleaning is not passive. Customer service calls are definitely not passive. So Nick adjusts. He studies the sales information, removes slow products, adds items employees requested, changes quantities, and builds a consistent restocking schedule. Instead of guessing what people want, he lets their actual buying behavior guide his decisions. His first location becomes stable, not wildly profitable, but stable. That proof helps him approach a second location, then a third. Over time, he learns how to pitch more confidently. He creates written agreements. He keeps emergency inventory, tracks expiration dates, plans efficient driving routes, and saves money for repairs. Years later, Nick may grow from 10 machines to 20, then 40, and eventually 50. But at that level, he is no longer just a person with vending machines. He is running a real operation. He may need employees or independent route workers, storage space, delivery vehicles, accounting systems, customer support, maintenance plans, and enough cash available to keep every machine stocked. Eventually, he builds a team and removes himself from many daily restocking trips. Then one summer, Nick is sitting with the same friend on a quiet beach in Cancun. They remember that first nervous conversation inside the office and laugh about how unprepared Nick was. The machines are still operating while he is away, but they did not become passive because they had AI. They became less dependent on Nick because he spent years building a system around them. And that is the part I want people to remember. A beautiful machine cannot fix a bad location. More products can also create more spoilage. Cashless technology creates processing costs. Cameras and smart locks do not completely eliminate theft or disputed charges. My personal opinion is that this can be a solid business, just like many other businesses. But it is not automatically easy, and getting good locations may be one of the hardest parts. I view business as a form of self-growth. Even when you work as an employee for somebody else, you still have to work hard. There is no such thing as free money, at least not that I know of. So my thinking is this. If I am going to work hard either way, why not at least explore the possibility of working for myself and building something I genuinely enjoy? The story about Nick was fictional. It was created to show how this business might develop, not to promise that every machine will become successful or that everyone can reach 50 locations. But I hope you enjoyed the story, learned something new, or at least started looking at vending machines a little differently. Would you rather see a complete breakdown of the startup costs, equipment, locations, and possible profit? Or should I continue explaining business ideas through fictional stories like Nick's? Let me know in the comments, because this may look like a refrigerator full of snacks. But behind that glass door is an entire business waiting to be decoded.